We're about to dive into this really powerful, kind of counterintuitive idea from one of history's greatest swordsmen, the legendary Miyamoto Musashi. And he had this argument that in any conflict, really in any discipline, what truly matters isn't how fast you are. Nope. It's how well you understand rhythm. But that idea, it just flies in the face of everything our modern world preaches, doesn't it? We are totally conditioned to value speed, hacks, instant results, you name it. So it kind of begs the question, right? Why are we so convinced that faster is always, always better? Well, the answer is actually beautifully simple. Speed just feels like skill. It looks impressive, but here's the twist. And what we're about to see, Musashi taught that rushing, that frantic energy, that's actually the signature of an amateur. True mastery? Well, that's something else entirely. So, okay, how do we get there? Here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the illusion of speed. Then we'll get into the wisdom from Musashi's wind scroll. After that, we'll really break down the huge difference between rhythm and just rushing around. We'll see how this applies to modern life. I'll show you a super simple practice you can use, and then we'll chart a path forward. All right, first step, let's confront this illusion of speed. Musashi's core argument is really profound. He says a warrior who rushes has already lost. They've surrendered their center. Think about it. When we're hurried, our mind isn't really our own anymore, is it? It's being controlled by all that external pressure. And this kicks off a really nasty cycle, a trap, really. We feel that pressure, right? So we act with haste. And what's wild is that modern cognitive science actually confirms what Musashi knew instinctively centuries ago. A rushed brain literally trades its smart executive control for just pure primal reaction. And what does that lead to? Yep, errors. Which, of course, only cranks up our internal stress, pushing us to rush even more. It's a vicious loop. So Musashi actually dedicated an entire section of his book, it's called The Wind Scroll, to this very topic. And here's a cool little detail. The Japanese character for wind can also mean style. So he used this entire chapter to call out other martial arts schools that he thought were just obsessed with these flashy, super fast techniques that, yeah, they looked good, but they had no real substance. And here's the crucial point he makes. Musashi basically says that speed is not the true way of strategy. A master, a real master, never looks fast. Think about a skilled craftsman. A beginner, they're making all this noise, a lot of frantic, busy movements. But the master, they're deliberate. They're just perfectly in rhythm with their tools, with their materials, and because of that, they never seem rushed. Their skill looks almost effortless. Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of this whole philosophy, the critical difference between just a frantic rush and a cultivated rhythm. And you might think they're similar, but trust me, they are worlds apart. So what is speed? Well, speed is just raw velocity. That's it. It's an external measurement that pays zero attention to the conditions. I love this analogy. It's like flooring the gas pedal on an icy road. Yeah, you've got plenty of motion, but you have absolutely no control. Rhythm, on the other hand, is a completely internal quality. It's all about timing. It's about creating a sense of harmony between what you're doing and the reality of the situation you're in. It's about seeing that natural rise and fall in everything, and then acting in tune with that flow. So let's just put them side by side. Rushing, that's reactive. But rhythm is deliberate. Rushing creates a ton of errors, while rhythm ensures precision. Rushing feels chaotic and busy. You know the feeling. But rhythm, it looks calm, almost effortless. One surrenders control completely, and the other maintains composure. In every single meaningful way, rhythm just wins. Okay, so 17th century swordsmen. That's great. But how does any of this apply to us today? Well, here's the thing. This principle of rhythm is totally timeless. And once you start looking for it, you'll see it absolutely everywhere in your life. Think about your work. This is all about strategic patience. It's about taking that extra beat to actually understand the environment before you jump in and act. A great leader, for instance, leads with this calm conviction, not a bunch of frantic energy. They're focused on making the right decisions, not just churning out a ton of busy work. How about in our relationships? Here, it's basically empathy. It's that ability to read the emotional rhythm of a conversation, to really feel when to speak and maybe more importantly, when to just listen. It's also about having a calm, repeatable way to repair things when you get disconnected, focusing on the health of the relationship, not just winning an argument in the heat of the moment. And what about your personal goals? whether you're trying to get fit or learn a new skill or whatever. Rhythm is all about consistency. It's that disciplined, steady pursuit of small, daily improvements instead of these huge, short bursts of frantic energy that just lead to burnout. This is how you cultivate that amazing state of flow, where what you're doing becomes so effective it feels almost effortless. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it, especially when the pressure is really on? Well, Musashi taught that you want to be determined though calm, with your spirit settled yet unbiased. So here's a super simple practice to help you find that state anytime you need it. The next time you feel yourself starting to rush, just try this. First, just pause completely. Second, take one full deep breath, in and out. Third, feel your feet on the floor. Really feel it. Anchor yourself to this present moment. And finally, number 4, re-engage with what you were doing, but this time, do it with a calm intention. It's a simple reset, but it works. It breaks that cycle of haste and plugs you right back into the rhythm of the moment. So, what's the path forward from here? Really, it's about consciously choosing to live a more measured life, a life where we value precision and timing way more than just raw speed. All right, let's recap the big ideas here. First, rushing is a trap. It just trades accuracy for anxiety. Second, true mastery in anything is about rhythm, not raw speed. Third, this isn't some abstract philosophy. It's a practical tool you can use in your work, your relationships, and your habits. And finally, remember, you can always, always reset your rhythm with that simple pause. And that kind of leads us to this one last powerful idea. A master's style, it isn't defined by all the flashy things they do. It's defined by the disciplined things they refuse to do. They refuse to be rushed. They refuse to get distracted by empty, flashy style. They refuse to surrender their composure. That's mastery. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Where in your life, in your work, your relationships, maybe your personal goals, where could a little less speed and a little more rhythm make all the difference? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me for this one. And hey, if you're ready to keep going, the next explainer is already waiting for you in the playlist.